is the M1 Max really worth it, or would I be just fine with a beefed up M1 Pro? This video is being brought to you in partnership with Epidemic Sound. Click the link in the description below to get a 30-day free trial. We gotta address my Apple sheetness. Player, I just spent $20 on a polishing cloth from Apple. Why? What is Tim Apple doing to me? Just give me a second. We gotta talk to Tim Apple, player. Hold up. Hello, Tim player, listen, man. What is going on with me lately? Let me tell you something, player. I saw y'all just dropped this new polishing cloth, and it's out of stock. Can you believe that? It ain't even shipping to December. But one thing I need to know, player, I need to know your cost, your margins. That's classified. What you mean, man? We talk almost every day. How does this polishing cloth cost $19? Explain. Hello? Tim? Guess the player ain't trying to give up his pockets. I get it. He don't want me to know how much he making. Player. Yes, this is the polishing cloth that everyone's been memeing and talking about. And guess what? We gonna open it here on the channel real quick, fast and in a hurry. Then we're gonna talk about my 72 hours with this maxed out M1 Max 14-inch MacBook Pro. Woo! And let me tell you something. I gotta be quite frank and honest and straight to the point. This is life-changing. Now let's open up this polishing cloth. Oh my goodness. Look at this. It's nice. I ain't even gonna lie. This thing kind of feel good. Whew. Wipe away my Apple sheet tears. $20. Especially after what I spent on this machine. But the reason why I was even willing to buy this outside of creating content and memeing and having fun with the skit was in the past, Apple used to give you like cloths, like cleaning cloths with your MacBook Pros and stuff like that, and they stopped doing that. I don't know why. So when I saw this, it just took me back to that moment, and I always loved that cloth. This is different though. This right here is of a different quality and texture. We're gonna have to try this out as soon as we open up this MacBook Pro and start talking about it. So, as you guys can see right here, I have the MacBook Pro 14-inch M1 Max. All right, before we even get started, let's get into the cons. You guys know how I do. I gotta let you know the cons that I've found over these last 72 hours of using this here 14-inch M1 Max. Con number one, the notch. Now, I'm gonna be honest, let's be real. I know I've been giving the notch a hard time. Oh, I mean, you know what? It ain't that bad. Let me look at the angle on it. Man, what notch? I don't even notice the notch. I do see the notch. Yeah, but in all reality, it is awkward. But the best thing you can do is put a dark background and just hide that puppy. You just gotta hide it. Con number two, with all of that notch, you mean to tell me all we get is a 1080p webcam? We don't even get center stage and we don't get Face ID. What a poor use of space, Tim. And my last and final con, there aren't that many because this thing is pretty great. It's pretty legit, but no Ethernet port. Now, why is that somewhat of a con? Because dongle life is still apparent. I have to grab a dongle if I wanna use the Ethernet port. All right, allow me a second to use this polishing cloth. Let me wipe my screen off with $20. Okay. I just hit the screen with a little miss. Bam. And now let's polish. Oh yeah, that got it right up. Okay. I do like a 50% alcohol, 50% water mix. Now, is it worth $19? That's the question. Comment down below and let me know how you really feel about the polishing cloth. Let's talk about what this M1 Max is configured to be. We basically have the 10-core CPU, 32-core GPU, 64 gigabytes of unified memory, aka RAM, as well as the 1 terabyte SSD, coming in at a whopping $3,699. Hold up, player. Let me wipe them tears with my polishing cloth. Now, I'll be honest, when it comes to the 1 terabyte SSD storage, I might actually be regretting that. We'll get more into that later, but basically we can get to it now. Once you edit and you use a lot of files on your main hard drive and the rendering files and things like that, that 1 terabyte becomes nothing in a second. So I'm really looking to get a more 2 terabyte or possibly even a 4 terabyte build. But we're gonna talk about where I stand and if I'm gonna be getting a new build, where I'm gonna land over these series, because I got a lot of things to test with this M1 Max and the M1 Pro. But let's focus right here. the display, you guys. This display is amazing. And as you can see right now, I have a black background, obviously because I want a notchless experience. But the whole thing about the mini LED is you can get that really nice contrast ratio, so it kind of gives you a feel and a vibe of OLED, even though it's not. Jokes aside for the notch, the one thing I cannot take away from this display is how amazing it really is. Like literally at first glance, you will notice the color accuracy, the ProMotion 120 Hertz refresh rate, the 1000 nits brightness with that peak 1600 for my HDR editing freaks out there. And honestly, overall, just the image quality. The image quality on this thing is like no others. Now, whether you're just a pro consumer looking for some of the highest grade MacBook Pros or you're an actual pro user, one thing you can't deny is how great this display truly is. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is audio. The audio options on this machine are nuts. You got microphone quality, you got speaker quality, and you also have a brand new headphone DAC, which I did test. I plugged in my Beyerdynamic DT770 Pros with 80 ohms, and basically this machine right here handled these headphones like a champ. These are my mixing headphones when I'm trying to get the mixing and the freaking and the making something happen. And no, well, not no freaking, but yeah, basically when I'm trying to be a mix freak and I'm trying to get super critical with my sound editing, I will put these on. Beyerdynamic, super dope, highly recommend. Now, me personally, I use an audio interface. I use the Apogee Duet 3, which is absolutely amazing. But if I were ever in a mobile situation, I know that I can rely on Apple's speaker system, microphone system, and headphone DAC to get me along just fine, minus my Duet 3. And the speakers on this machine deliver. If you haven't watched my other videos, let me give you a demonstration real quick. Hold up, player. Let me pull up Epidemic Sound. Shameless plug, yeah. But I gotta bang my favorite song right now. My favorite song right now is from MBHD Nick, and it's called That Way. And I know by now you guys all know about That Way because I've been banging it every video, but it's actually worthy of the praise. So we're gonna play it right now so you guys can hear these speakers and like literally listen. Because the richness in these speakers, like the low end presence is everything. I want everybody get slow, get the millions and lay low. Hey, take mine, what I'm going for. Put my balls on the payroll. Out of sight, out of mind. I'm away. Hey, out of sight, out of mind. Out my way. Out of sight, out of mind. Out my way. Out of sight, out of mind. Out my way. Hey. Yeah. All these suckers, all these busts, all these leeches, now I'm not blind to it. I see y'all. Yeah. Get you done or we gon' run or watch me come up off of my music. I just make 10 in a week. I can make 10 in a day. Hey. Hey. I wake up on the beach. I'm wake up in the hey. Alright, y'all, I'm serious. These speakers are actually really good, and that song is fire. So go check it out. You know what I'm saying? MBHD Nick That Way. You know what I mean? I'm gonna plug my player because that song is fire. And if you need music like that for your social media, your YouTube channel and all that, check out Epidemic Sound. There's a link in the description to a 30-day free trial. Matter of fact, let's just do an ad spot. Let me explain to you why Epidemic Sound is absolute fire. Listen, there's something called DMCA takedown. There's something called a copyright strike. There's something called you can't use other people's music unless you have proper licensing or permission. And most of you don't. But that's where Epidemic Sound comes in. They make the process super streamlined. Literally for a small nominal fee monthly, you are covered. You link your social media. You tell them, yo, I got YouTube, I got Facebook, I got Twitter, I got Instagram. Cover me to all that stuff. And then when you post your content and you use their sound effects, their music, their Foley art, whatever it is, you are covered from any copyright strikes or DMCA takedowns, leaving you to have a stress-free creative life, and I'm all about it. My life is stress-free in terms of music, sound effects, Foley art. Oh, you do commercial work? Guess what? Epidemic Sound has you covered too. You can get a commercial plan. All right, enough about Epidemic Sound. Just use that link down in the description below. Don't tell them I gave you 30 days free and enjoy, player. Let's talk about performance. You guys, this is another area, actually this is the area where the new M1 Max as well as the M1 Pro just shine. rise out of the ashes like a phoenix, player. This is next level. Literally, after 72 hours with this M1 Max, I can never go back to an M1 player. Now, for full clarity, I fall more into the lines of a professional user. I'm not in the pro consumer realm. I'm not in the typical YouTuber realm, at least with my editing workflow. I use a lot of processor heavy motion VFX plugins and animations. If you ever wonder where I get all of these animations that I put in my videos, I get them from Motion VFX. There's a link down in the description for those as well. But at the end of the day, my workflow on the M1 was throttling my machine in terms of graphics. I was overwhelming it, but that's not the case with the M1 Max. I still have to test the M1 Pro because word through the grapevine, player, the M1 Pro is just as the M1 Max. So we have to do the testing. I have to do it personally. I'm not gonna take everyone else's word. I need my word, you know what I mean, in my experience. But at the end of the day, the main benefit of this M1 Max that I've seen over these last 72 hours for me personally is time. I've gotten back so much time in my workflow, and that's everything. Y'all already know. If you don't know, time is money, player, and I need to get out here and make all the paper I can, so I need all the time I can get. I need money. Yeah, you never seen a movie? Okay, never mind. Honestly, the editing process on the M1 architecture is finally what I've been expecting. I was expecting this with the M1, but I didn't quite get this with the M1. But now the M1 Max gives me all of the editing potential that I could ever want. And for full transparency, yes, I was able to get the fans to turn on. Matter of fact, I'll show you a clip. I don't know if y'all can hear that because my robot vacuum going, but we got fan noise. We got the fans to get on, and that was from me adding a layer, one layer of color grade, but it's color grading the multicam clip, multiple color grades. It's actually doing it at a very fast speed, but they're still very low. You got to get up close on it to hear. They're very subtle, but I did catch the fan. And just to clarify, you guys, I have Safari open, Chrome open, messages open, email is open. Everything that I normally would have open is open, but I mean, I got a little fan noise, but no big deal. Even with those fans cutting on, and y'all saw what all I was doing, I haven't seen a drop or a lack in performance at all. Now, granted, this thing is beefed up. This is crazy. 64 gigabytes of RAM, 32 core GPU. This is the creme de la creme of the brand new M1 Max and the build that you can do on a 14-inch layout. And another thing to note, even from that video, the fan noise is extremely less audible than that on the Intel Base Max. The Intel Base Max used to scream, yell, kick, and fuss because I just wanted to watch or open up Google Chrome and stuff like that. The simple things will put the Intel Base Max through the stress. Those simple things no longer stress these new M1 Max. And another great thing that I love about this machine that I couldn't do on my M1 is I can preview my raw photos. I used to be able to put my raw photos in the icon form so I could see them, but if I hit spacebar and that thing opened, Lightroom was like, hold up, player. It just took forever. But on the M1 Max, I literally go to my raw photo, I hit the spacebar, and it opens up immediately. That's clutch. That's time, baby. That's money. I mean, you know what I'm saying, man. Basically, the more time I get back, the more time I have for me, and the less late nights editing to 3 a.m. in the morning, which I'm still doing that right now because the player got to get these videos out. But at the end of the day, time is everything. Workflow is everything. User experience, which we're going to talk about next. If you can't tell, my user experience on this machine has been nothing short of amazing. And honestly, if you're a creative professional and you subject yourself to the Mac OS ecosystem, or you just use Mac computers in general, these are the MacBooks that you want to look at. These are the MacBook Pros that are actually pro. Like, for a long time, the Pro has been gone and the MacBook is back.